How our program works is we have like a walkie-talkie system, and so I'm like talking to men through all hours of the day. No Diddy. Yo, Daily Dose fam. We have a long overdue episode of Epic Rants. Question of the day. Well, actually, I'm gonna have you guys ask any questions that you want included in the future episodes, but please let me know in the comments if you've caught a previous episode of Epic Rants before. This is something I've done, I don't even want to guess. I think it's over 5 years though, maybe 5, 6 years, maybe more. Nah, I lied, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say 6, 7 years. I'll try to remember to link the playlist below for anybody that wants to go check it out. But essentially, this is just a series where your boy get to run his mouth. I get to run my mouth in a hopefully a helpful way. It was a series where people would email in and I would answer questions. I mean, everything from faith, relationships, health, mental health, physical health, like business, right? And that sounds like I'm an almighty, all-knowing guru. No, actually not. I would admit when I don't know things, I really try to just pick questions that I had understanding on. For those that know, your boy's just a nerd. I like life, man. I like studying, learning, study success. And so over the years, I've had opinions and takes that have helped people. I call it Epic Rants because I don't know that I always get to the point that quick. Feels like I'm just ranting on and on, but it's helped a lot of people, man. And what's cool that when I first started this series, I believe I was just starting my coaching journey. Some of the people that you guys know now that still work with me now as coaches, like my guy Ant, were a part of some of the first coaching programs I ever rolled out. This is kind of surreal thinking about it, man. A lot's changed since then. We really do coaching now. I mean, we got people all over the world that we coach. We got our whole own like gamified software that we built that we run clients through. Dang. And my perspective has changed. Obviously, I've grown. Your boy is 33. I'll be 34 in like a couple weeks. I think I had 3 kids last time. Now we got 4. We're coming up on 14 years of marriage. And like I said, I've been in the trenches. Of course, mentored, coached. We have so much course material that we have out there that's helped thousands of men. But I've been like in the trenches, working through everything from faith crises, relationship problems, divorce, backstabbings, like all types of stuff. Not like OJ. I'm just saying I've coached some men that have some crazy stuff, like some of them horrific. I follow like some of those like toxic relationship type pages that just be exposing some of the like worst breakups and divorces, like men that been going through crazy crap. Stuff if I were to tell you, you'd be like, nah, I feel like that feels like that's out of a movie. From people losing over 100 pounds to, you know, people going through all types of mental struggles, people starting businesses, people running, scaling businesses, like just so many things in the trenches with hundreds and hundreds of men. How our program works is we have like a walkie-talkie system, and so I'm like talking to men through all hours of the day. No Diddy. Just really in the trenches. So not saying that to brag or anything. I'm just saying since we started this series, your boy's learned a lot. I've seen things from so many different angles, and so I'm just excited to bring this back, man. So if you guys like what you hear here, what you hear here, and you want more of it, you know, let me know. Ask questions down below. I'll drop an email here if you feel like your stuff's too private. You don't want to ask it in the chat. You want to be a little bit more private. I'll have an email on here somewhere that you can email your boy. It'll be on the screen, maybe in the description below. And then I'll have any resources to like course material if you want coaching, okay? An email you can reach out to apply, all that stuff. All right, let's get into it. So these are actually questions that I asked for on Instagram. So if y'all don't follow me, I feel like that's my main social media that I'm on. I post the most there. A lot of inspirational, motivational stuff. So if you're into that, make sure you follow your boy on Instagram. But I asked this on my story and I picked 5 questions to relaunch this series with. But I'll use the comment section or the email moving forward. But still, follow your boy on Instagram. So the first question, I'm not gonna shout out the names. I'm just gonna keep people anonymous, you know. If for some reason you want me to share your name when you ask the question, you know, let me know. I had a brother ask, basically Impostor Syndrome, and you know, how to overcome that. We got a brother just got a real up, you know, he got a new job where he's making significantly, like, you know, some real good money, okay, multiple 6 figures, and now he feels like an imposter, like he can't really keep up, like he's not supposed to be where he's at. And that's a common feeling, man. A lot of us feel that, have been there. Here's my take on that. I like to demystify it, okay? If you see your boy with his head on a swivel, we walking out here, a lot of dogs, and forgot to bring my bear spray. But imposter syndrome, I like to take I'm not a fan of the term imposter syndrome. I feel like it makes it out to be a little bit more than what it really is. I think we got to be careful when we're labeling ourselves, you know, in a world of real conditions with physical health, mental health, and there's just like legit patterns. So it's not like we can't label some things. And I think there's power in it when you have clarity with an understanding on what you have, and you have words to talk about things. But also, you got to be careful because we can sometimes put our identity into things, and we start identifying with these, even with an illness, right? That in a way that is unhealthy. I actually don't even know the official definition of a syndrome, but it's the way we talk about it, you know? People will talk as if it's something that they caught or as if they're diagnosed with it. And honestly, I think it's just you got some limiting beliefs swirling around. Welcome to being a human. It's just how the mind works. And one of the most powerful things you guys can take away from this video is that you aren't your thoughts. You know, you have thoughts, you have emotions, but you aren't those. And a lot of us spend a lot of time getting caught up in that, thinking that we are our thoughts. Your boy arm's getting tired, man. We're gonna sit down for a little bit. Like I was saying, you aren't your thoughts. And one of the most powerful things you can do is watch your mind. As humans, we have this really cool thing, right? All the smart, neuroscientists would call it meta-awareness, where you can be aware that you're aware. If you've ever meditated or you really even just got caught daydreaming, right? It's not like you were just daydreaming and then you snapped out of it like you knew. So you were daydreaming and you knew that you were daydreaming, right? You can watch your thoughts and you can be stressing over something and see that you're stressed and have a thought and see that you're thinking about it. If you've ever meditated, you've sat down, watched the mind go whichever way it went and you noticed it, right? That's actually low-key a superpower. And one of the best things you can do is just make a habit of journaling or meditating, and that'll help you just practice disconnecting and realizing that you aren't your thoughts. The more you journal, you kind of get them out on paper, and you realize that you can't always control what you're going to think next. You can do some things to influence it, but it's also important to realize, like I said, you aren't your mind, you have a mind. And the mind just works like a computer, okay? You got things that it gets put in, like there's something you didn't think about this week because you have no clue about it. So an example is you may not have thought of postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Speaking of a syndrome, right? That's something my wife has. Now, you may not even known what that is, okay? And so you didn't think about it this week. I thought about it this week because I know what it is, right? My mind, it's like a computer. It's been fed. So a computer isn't right unless it's programmed with the truth. You could program a computer incorrectly and it's just going to fire off what it knows. Same with your mind. And so sometimes when we're trying to go to our mind for answers and how to feel, it's like it may not have it. And we think that we are these thoughts. We are these things that are popping up. And sometimes a thought, it's like a fart, man. It just show up, okay? You can't control it. And it's not like you caused it to be there. They're just thoughts. But what you can do practically is I like to take that imposter syndrome feeling, just watch the mind. Let me give you something actually really practical for the mind before I move on. As you guys see these thoughts pop up, these negative thoughts, I just want you to sit back and watch them, okay? Watch the thoughts. An analogy I love is imagine your mind is like a pond, okay? And you have a rock that's thrown into it. That's you getting triggered in your mind by all these different things. I want you guys to practice just watching that mind be triggered, okay? Maybe someone says something, you get a little bit mad, but don't give into it. Don't act. You don't do anything. Don't tell yourself it's wrong. Don't suppress it. Don't try to keep it out. Just watch it, and you'll notice the mind will agitate, and then it will just calm down. Just like that pond and the ripples, they'll clear. But what we try to do is we try to get in there and say, we shouldn't think that way. I shouldn't, no, let me push that out. I don't want to think about my breakup. I don't want to think about my dad or my mom and what they did, right? And so we get in there and try to smooth out the ripples. But what does that do? That just causes more waves, man, right? We're just stirring up our mind. And I think these things really come up to heal us. Some of that stuff in your past, some of the stuff you're struggling with most, it's just trying to come up, work its way out. And all you got to do is sit back, watch it. Don't get so involved. Now, this won't heal you in 1 day, 2 days. You'll start to notice a peace, as you do it. But you'll notice certain things still keep coming up, right? And you got to stay consistent with it. And you'll notice some of those things that used to be crazy triggers, like boulders hitting your pond, they'll just stop triggering things. And it will take time. Just like if you've ever been working out, sometimes you've been in the gym crazy, maybe sometimes for weeks, maybe a month, and you're looking in the mirror, you're like, I don't feel like it's working. And then around that mark, you just keep working out. You catch yourself in the mirror one day and you're like, oh snap, hold up, it's working. It's as if it just popped up, but it didn't, man. It was that consistent work. It'll be the same way, okay? So understand that about the mind. But very practically with imposter syndrome, I like to break that down to a math problem. So you aren't as confused as you think about it, right? If you feel like you aren't, let's say, good enough for a situation, okay? I feel like there's two things that are going on. Either you're right or you're wrong. And either or, I wouldn't call you an imposter. You're in the situation. It's like, let's say someone's on an NBA team and they're just clearly the worst person on the team. It's like, are they an imposter? No, or are they just at least the worst person on the team? And maybe you are in a job or something that you feel like you don't deserve, but you're there. Okay, so let's look at it for what it is. Where are you deficient? Is there an area where okay, I just need to improve? Let's don't call it imposter syndrome. Let's just know you got to work on some stuff. I know for me in basketball, there was a lot of different things that I was, insecure about my game, but one of them was my ball handling, okay? Ooh, no diddy. You can't even say ball handling no more. That's crazy. My dribbling, okay? And I could have been like, oh, I have imposter syndrome. I'm not as good at dribbling. I'm not Kyrie, right? I'm still nowhere near, no one's Kyrie, but what did I do? I got in the lab, got better until people stopped taking my cookies, right? No diddy. I don't know if we can say that either. But it's that simple, okay? Do you struggle with presentations? Do you struggle with networking? Do you struggle with whatever? Great. Let's don't tell ourselves a crazy story like, oh, how could I be trash at this? How could I struggle at that? No, that's the truth. That's the reality. So let's improve it. From there, what can you do? I like to think of who, not how. So who is the person I can go to that is the master at presentations, right? Learn from them. And you'll see very systematically the imposter syndrome just becomes simple, man. It becomes a math problem. What am I struggling with? I feel like I'm an imposter in my relationship. Why? I can't communicate my feelings better, or I can't communicate my feelings, my emotions. I'm struggling getting over my childhood trauma. X, Y, Z, cool. Break it down to a math problem, man, and let's work on it. So that's my take on imposter syndrome. We'll leave that there for now. On to the next question. All right, let's try to pick up the pace on some of these answers, man. I took my time on that one. So the next question was, how do you escape a rat race? Well, one, Robert Kiyosaki has a book on this called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Y'all can check that out. I thought that's a good book for starting your financial literacy journey. That was the first one that as a broke black kid, that was the first book that had me just thinking about finances differently. So I would always say, check that one out. That's a deep question, man. Like, there's a lot of ways you can get to money. But I would say these two things. One, and this is not a comprehensive answer. It's just where I would probably have you start just for that general question, right? One, keep in mind, a lot of people want to escape the rat race because they want this feeling of financial security. Keyword security. They want to feel some sort of way on the inside, and they're trying to position things in the outer world to feel a certain way on the inside. That's why you do everything, by the way. Like everything you do, from the girl you date, the car you drive, the money you're trying to make, right? Everything. You're trying to feel this peace. You're trying to feel full. You're trying to feel okay on the inside. That's why I see people doing the things that they're doing. And I've seen a lot of people get the money, aka financial security, and they don't feel secure, okay? Because it's nothing on the outside can make you feel a certain way on the inside. And what do I mean by that? Like, they don't have that power intrinsically. And that's why maybe a girl you thought was your happiness, your joy, your peace. But then another moment, she can have you freaking out, pissed off, right? It's because the happiness isn't in her per se. It's in the story that you have about her. And so it's all an internal job on the inside, or the whole time. If this isn't making sense, man, keep meditating on it. But you may be like, yo, basketball is my peace. Basketball is happiness. That's not the case for everyone. If I go give my mom a basketball, she's not like, yo, this is happy. There's nothing in a basketball it's not like happiness is in a basketball and it transfers into you. It's all about the story you had. And that's why, let's say you had the worst day of your life, right? Everyone you know died. You lost your bank account. Basketball probably wouldn't make you happy, you know? And so, one, that's the real matter. Is just understanding that I know you just can't find peace by trying to get exactly what you want and avoiding what you don't want. This wasn't the question. Maybe someone needs to ask it for the next time. I'll go deeper on this, but I think peace comes, I think the fruit of the Spirit is that. The fruit of the Spirit, not the fruit of your hard work. So I think love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, self-control, all these things that we want to feel, that fullness, right? We want to thirst no more. That's from God. That's the Spirit of God. And and shortly, how we get to that is it's about not clinging. Okay, Jesus talks about you cling to this life, you'll lose it. That's what he means, man. When you're so wrapped up in how things have to play out, right? You gotta have a certain amount of money in your bank account. Can't have your girl talking crazy. Can't have this going on. Gotta have this right. When you cling to these preferences that you have to have, it'll always feel like, yeah, you're losing something in life or something's not enough. And money can't mask that, because the world is like the weather, man. It changes. It never stays the same. It's transient by nature. That's why we have God put us in time. It's always marching, always changing. And so if you try to cling on to it, it's like, if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon does a master class on this, but he talks about how life can be like hevel, which is like a vapor or a smoke. It can look cool, but what can you really do with it, right? Life is interesting because no matter how much money you make, no matter what you build and who you are, when we die, we all go to the same place. When we die, we all got to put our pieces back in the box, like a board game, no matter who wins Monopoly, cash gets collected, puts back in the box. When you die, you don't take nothing with you, okay? So that can't be the point of life, but I'll leave that there. So really, it's just about not clinging to these selfish things, and then really all of life opens up, okay? Then you stop needing people to be a certain way. You don't need your kids to be a certain way for you to be at peace. You just are peace, and you can bring that to the kids. You don't need your wife to act a certain way, and then you're happy. You're just happy, and then you get to bring that to the relationship, because things will change, people will change, finances will change, and you don't want your peace changing with it. That's also why the Bible calls it a peace that transcends understanding, because it's not about the mind getting what it wants, okay? The mind ain't always right. So that's the first thing, for security purposes. And then two, that's such a broad question, escape the rat race, but I get it, and I love you. I would say start investing your time, energy, finances in high value skills, okay? Like, skills pay the bills, and not just in your finances, but even in your relationship. Are you and your girl fighting all the time? You probably don't have skills, brother. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to de-escalate situations. You don't know how to love. These things are things you can learn, invest in, right? Start reading your Bible. Start getting some books on relationships, communication, dealing with your trauma. Get some coaching. Link in the description. Holla at your boy, right? Get a course. Get these things. They're going to build your skills. It's a lot easier to make a lot of money when you have high value skills. Your boy's seen some really cool, really big, really consistent paychecks. They're all funded by skills, okay? Able to coach men through some of the toughest seasons of their life. These are skills I had to learn, right? I'm not just freestyling with this stuff, right? So you got to think, like, what are things that get people big results, really help people in big ways? Of course, like in my world, your boy loves marketing. So these things like sales, copywriting, like even with AI, man, like it almost makes your job a little bit easier. But sales, marketing, these things are like high value skills. But, look into certain trades, but your goal is to think of like, what are skills that are in high demand, okay, that really impact people's lives. And the more you can be a specialist, the better, right? Think of like a general doctor versus a brain surgeon. Okay, so think, what type of high value skills do I want to commit to? And then just do that. Commit to that. You got brothers changing every other week, man. They got an e-com store, then they're doing crypto, then they're doing SMMA and all this all these different things. It's just like, bro, pick one. And it's not like, what is the new trend to make money? It's whatever you're going to lock in on. We got millionaires across the board and everything. And it's not that anything is a scam. It's just are you willing to put the work in, right? That would be my thought on that, brother. How to escape the rat race. But again, so many people can get the money and still be a rat in the race of life. No peace, no security. None of that. All right, we're gonna wrap this one up here, man. I've done a lot. I ranted on some other things. It's really bonus to the questions, but real good foundations for y'all. And so we'll wrap it up after this question. If you guys got more, let me know in the comments, okay? Or email me. And I don't know when the next episode is gonna be. I don't know what the cadence is gonna be. We'll see how many questions y'all got, how much I have to say. Like I said, if you want more, check out the coaching, check out the courses, all that stuff. This last question is basically just a brother asking for advice because he's a new father. This one is pretty simple for me. I think you need to become the best man that you can be. And honestly, without trying to like direct your kids, like, oh, they need to learn this, they need to do that. Bam, use your own life, all of your own vices, all of your personal insecurities, the things you struggle with the most, okay? Your perversions, your pride, whatever that may be, use that as, oh, I thought my dog Debo had it. It looked like my dog Debo was up here at this park. I thought this ninja escaped. Use that as the roadmap. And I want you to really just try to overcome that. Because here's what's crazy. You can't give someone anything that you don't have. And we got so many men and women trying to parent their kids to peace, to strength, to abundance, whatever it may be, and they don't have it themselves. And some of you guys can probably relate to your parents trying to talk to you about the Bible or send you to church or whatever, have a relationship with God, whatever, things that be healthy, and they don't do it. I think it's so much easier when you can be the man that you're trying to raise your son to be, when you can have the peace that you're trying to teach your daughters to have, or whatever it may be. You know, you got the kids yelling at the kids for yelling, right? It's like, where they get it from, you know? And so that would be my thing, brother. Like, I don't think there's no parenting book you need to know. I don't think there's anything crazy. There's no one chapter of the Bible that's gonna have you prepared in abundance for parenthood. But again, it's not even like you gotta love your kids with anything special. You should love your kids with like you love everyone else, like Jesus called you to love people. So when you just move with love, not because you need something from your kids, not because you're trying to get them to act right, you should already be right, be full, right? Because you stopped clinging like we talked about. And then from there, you're just trying to overcome all of your stuff, and now your overflow, your abundance can go over into your kids. And you don't have to tell them, because so much of this stuff from your kids is caught, not taught. They just be watching you, fam. So when I walk in the house, unless the kids are like super, super busy, right? They'll just swarm me, give me hugs, cool. But I walked in, I was just eating some tacos at the kitchen. The ninjas just watching me. You know, I packed my tacos a little crazy. When I bite it, it was falling out. They just laughing at everything because they watching me. Like a hawk, everything. My son be watching every move I make. I brush my teeth, I get my little floss. He walks the same way, does his stuff. And it's the same with temperament, with me reading my Bible, my relationship with God. You can't fake the funk. Just be that man. Teach your kids how to love, how to be kind, all of that stuff, versus shouting and ordering them to do it. Those are always the best leaders. All right, rant over. Love you guys. Like I said, check the resources, the playlist, anything that should be linked, I'll have that below. If you got a comment or a question, let me know. Love y'all.